The atmosphere in Vrindavana was celebratory. Everyone seemed to be preparing for some kind of a festival. Curious to know what it is, little Krishna, just 7 years old then, went to his father, Nanda Maharaj. Nanda Maharaj replied, "We are all preparing for the worship of Indra, the rain god, the god of the gods. He provides us with rain. Water is so essential for our livelihoods. So we worship him on this day every year as a sign of our gratitude towards him." Said Krishna. If he is the rain god, he is responsible for providing rain. But whether we should get rain or not cannot be decided by him. That is decided by the laws of nature as per our karma. We can be grateful to Indra, but what is the point in worshipping him? Asked Krishna. And anyway, if it's a question of our livelihood, we are all cowherds, gwalas. Our job is to protect and maintain the cows. And in this, we are greatly helped by the Govardhana hill, which provides so much nourishment to our cows. So I suggest we should worship the Govardhana hill if at all we need to worship someone. After a lot of deliberation, discussion, and debate, finally Krishna managed to convince his father and the Vrajavasis, the people of Vrindavana, that they should go and worship the Govardhana hill. All the paraphernalia which was prepared for Indra's worship was diverted for the worship of Govardhana. Along with that, Krishna instructed them to prepare mountains and mountains of bhogas, heaps of different rice preparations with glistening with ghee, cauldrons of dal, sabzi, puri, laddus, halwas, jalebis, gulab jamun, samosas, kachori, what not, you name it, and everything was there. Everything was prepared and it was placed at the foothill of Govardhana. And all the Vrajavasis, they started praying. Vrajastithe, Vrajanidhe, Vrajatirtham, Vrajabhumitam, Gobar. Sorry, I'll just complete it. Govardhanam Namamyaham. As they prayed, Govardhana hill appeared personally in a human form, a huge human form in front of them to accept the offerings which was placed before him. The Vrajavasis were ecstatic, but they couldn't help noticing. He looked so similar to our Krishna. But they just brushed it off. This must be an illusion. After all, our Krishna is standing next to us. And the Govardhana, the personal form of Govardhana, started accepting the bhoga kept in front of him. He started saying, "Annayor, Annayor, Annayor, give me more, give me more." All the Vrajvasis, they kept offering, and within a minute, all the food that was prepared, the mountains and mountains of food disappeared. He kept saying, "Annayor, Annayor." Perplexed as to what to do, they all turned to Krishna. Krishna said, "Just offer a tulsi leaf with love." When they did that, Govardhana was satisfied. The Brajavasis circumambulated the Govardhana and then they left off to their homes happily, concluding the worship. Everyone was happy, but there was one person who was very sad. Can you guess who it was? It was, of course, Indra. Indra was furious. He was fuming with anger. How dare they do this to me? How dare they insult me like this? They dare to defy my authority, the authority of the king of the gods. These Brajavasis, they need to be taught a lesson for stopping my worship today and listening to that boy and worshipping the Govardhana hill instead of me. He called on, he summoned the great Samvartaka clouds, the deadly clouds who only come at the time of annihilation. He called them and he asked them, inundate the village of Vrindavana and destroy the lives of all the people there as a punishment for what they have done today. The Samvartaka clouds, for them, it was very easy. They are used to destroying the universe. So they went and assembled over the Vrindavana town. And as they went there, and they started pouring water with all their strength and power. There was constant thunder and lightning, strong winds, and incessant rain started pouring all around. The raindrops seemed like piercing arrows. Water seemed to gradually cover up the entire Vrindavana. And trembling with fear, drenched with water, and feeling very cold, the Vrajavasis went to Krishna. They asked him for his help. Krishna soon realized this is the work of that proud Indra. He asked them to come along with him. They all went and reached the Govardhana hill again. And then, just like how a child picks up a small mushroom from the ground, Krishna effortlessly picked up the Govardhana and placed it on the tip of his little finger of the left hand. And he asked all the Vrajavasis to come and take shelter of Govardhana along with all their families and all their belongings. They all came inside. Indra, who was watching all this mounted on his Airavata, he was perplexed. He didn't understand what was happening, but his anger did not allow him to stop. He kept on He kept on piercing his, using his Vajra to pierce the residents of Vrindavana with thunder and lightning and the Samvartaka clouds. They kept blowing strong winds over them, and they kept, I don't know what's wrong. They kept pouring the rain over the Vrindavana, determined to destroy them once and for all. But under the Govardhana hill, the environment was very celebratory again. Krishna had begun to play his flute with his right hand as he held the Govardhana with his left hand. And all the Vrajavasis, now having the faith that they will be protected, they just kept looking at Krishna and admiring him. And then they started singing. Hamaro Kanha Govardhan Giridhari, Hamaro Kanha Govardhan Giridhari. But Indra, he was unstoppable. He just kept going on and on, on and on. The raindrops now became fiercer and fiercer. They seemed like big, big pillars falling on the ground now. But nothing could be moved for the Vrindavana residents who were under the shelter of the Govardhana hill. They kept singing. Pralaya ke badal barsale apni sari शक्ति लगा ले बाल न बाका होए बीरज को जब तक बीरज बिहारी हमारो कान्हा गोवर्धन गिरिधारी हमारो कान्हा गोवर्धन गिरिधारी. This went on for 7 days and 7 nights. The Samvartaka clouds dried up entirely. And that's when Indra realized the futility of what he had done. Drunk by his own power and pride, he had committed a horrible offense on the Vrindavan Vasis. He had failed to recognize the boy he considered as ordinary. That boy was the Lord himself. He asked the clouds to disperse, and the sun came and shone brightly over Vrindavana. Krishna asked all the Vrajavasis to go and leave the Govardhana hill and go back to their homes. And when Krishna was alone, Indra came and apologized to him. He came along with Surbi cow, who was very dear to Krishna. At the behest of Surbi cow, Krishna forgave Indra, but he forgave him with a warning. The power which you have is to fulfill your duty. You cannot treat it as your right. It is unacceptable to indiscriminately use your power to command any kind of bribe or worship from the people. Indra apologized again, and he thanked Krishna for destroying his pride completely. And he went back singing, Jai Jai Govardhan Giridhari, Jai Jai Govardhan Giridhari, Jai Jai Govardhan Giridhari, Jai Jai Govardhan Giridhari. Thank you.